بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وتوفيقا وإخلاصا وفقا في الدين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. قال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما المؤمنون إخوة. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خير الناس أنفعهم للناس أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Respected listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to address something which is very near and dear to my heart, and this is a prophetic quality and something the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam instilled within the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum. And it is the quality of helping others, especially at a time of need and distress. And the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us on two different accounts, and I'll speak about both of them. In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ says, the best of people are those who are most beneficial to others. In another narration, the Prophet ﷺ says, أَحَبُّ النَّاسِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The most beloved people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are most beneficial to others. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ مِنْكُمْ أَن يَنْفَعَ أَخَاهُ فَلْيَنْفَعْهُ. Whoever from amongst you is capable of helping his fellow brother, then let him help his brother, let him benefit his brother. And Allah Azza wa Jal tells us who our brothers are in the Holy Quran. He says the believing body of Muslims, they are brothers to one another. And this is something which has been on my mind, that if we want the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to be ready to help others. I am in a profession where I help people, I listen to their problems, and we collaborate and come together and work on solutions. And we offer this service, alhamdulillah, at the masjid as well. I was sitting in a counseling session, and the client mentioned at the end of the session in the masjid that how much does this cost? Because they know the price outside. I said there's no cost to this. This is free of charge. With the highest level of professionalism, this is free of charge. This is a service that the masjid offers to the community. And by the fadl and the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal, I am able to be a means to exact that service or to execute that service that the masjid offers. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. Nevertheless, I want to speak about helping others. And if we are capable, if we are in a position to do so, then we should. Because a time will come when we will need the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And wallahi, when we help others, we will get the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from places that we could have never imagined. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And part of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fearing His disappointment when we don't help others, even though we are able to do so. If we have it within us, and that help can be financial, it can be moral support, it can be a lending hand, it can be whatever you can think of, however you can benefit someone else. It is from the greatest actions. And alhamdulillah, we have people in our community, you text them, and right away they respond and they say, I am at your service. And subhanAllah, it really warms your heart, truly. And it really motivates you to give back and to do more and to help others. And maybe they have lived long lives and they have lived maybe even lives of difficulty. But the true reward lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the master and the owner of Yawmuddin, the day of giving back. The real day of giving back, sometimes we give in this world and we have this thought in our minds, maybe I'll get something in return. Sometimes it's even a thank you. I was coming here right now for Jumu'ah and there was a van in front of me and they wanted to come into the left lane. There was a long line and I waited, meaning I hit the brakes and I let them come in. And my ego was a little disappointed when I didn't get a thank you. And then I thought to myself, astaghfirullah, am I doing it for the thank you or am I doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I had to check myself. Is it to feed my own ego? That, oh, I'm a nice guy. Oh, that's why I let them in? And then I said, no. This is not the right intention to have when I'm helping others. The true help is when you give and you don't expect anything from the makhluk. You expect from the Khaliq. You expect from the Creator. On the Day of Judgment, when I will need it the most, what's one thank you going to do for me in this world? When I will need it the most on Yawmul Qiyamah, that is when the angels will compensate for us. That is when the angels will give back by the hukm and the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we can extract this from the stories of the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam was in exile. He was a runaway fugitive. He was wanted in Egypt. And the historians mention that he was traveling for around a week, 1 week, barely any food, surviving off of leaves, couldn't get water. He reached a place called Madian. وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ. And there he found a group of people and he began to observe. He began to observe. And he is in such a desperate position, a desperate state at this time. He makes a dua to Allah Azza wa Jal from the depths of his heart. He says, رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٍ. If you're ever in a very desperate situation and you need Allah Azza wa Jal, tell Allah that you need Him. And this is exactly what Musa alayhi salam did. He said, I am in need of whatever you send down to me. O my Rabb, O my sustainer, O my maintainer, O my nourisher, O my nurturer, I need you. In this desperate moment, this plea that he called out, despite his state, he's observing the people and he notices two women and they're waiting with buckets to get water. And the people are not allowing these women to get water. And when they finished getting their water, they were very wretched individuals. They lifted the boulder and they placed it, around 10 of them. It required 10 people to lift that boulder to cover the mouth of the well. So they covered the mouth of the well so the two women can't get water. So they don't have access. Musa alayhi salam, in his state of deprivation from food and water, his desperate state of hunger and thirst, he goes there and single-handedly he lifts that boulder and he tosses it to the side. And he helps them get their water. And subhanallah, Allah Azza wa Jal is teaching us a lesson here. Musa alayhi salam needed safety, he needed amnesty, he needed companionship, he needed food, he needed water. He got all of this. Was it solely because of his dua? Or also because Musa alayhi salam selflessly helped those two women in a state where he needed the most help? He needed water himself. But he put his needs to the side. He suppressed his desires and he fulfilled the needs of others. And what did Allah Azza wa Jal do for Musa alayhi salam? In that moment, he was led to the house of their father and a beautiful love story ensues. And Musa alayhi salam gets married and he helps the family for many years and he returns with a newfound confidence. But it all stems from what? Where does it all come from? It comes from his initiative to help. Not, subhanallah, if you read the ayat in the Quran in Surah Al-Qasas, you won't be able to make a direct connection between him helping these ladies and him being helped by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we know the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells us in a hadith, and the promise of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is haqq. And he said, Wallahu fi awni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi awni akhi. Allah Azza wa Jal will help you so long as you are helping your fellow Muslim. You want the help of Allah, be in service to humanity. Be in service to others. If you are able to do so. Even if it may be a small gesture. Even if it may be checking up on your friends. Even if it may be making dua for them. On the night of the khatma of Qiyamul Layl, a couple of my friends, they messaged me and they said, make dua for this specific thing. Make dua for this for me, please, by name if you can. So I had a long list of du'as. Most of the dua went into making dua for others. May Allah accept the ad'iyah and bring them back to me. Because the angels say, Ameen wa laka aydan, for you as well. Make dua for others, selflessly. You'll get it in return 10 times, tenfold, multiple times more. The mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal is limitless. You can't put a cap on it. So I made dua. After the dua, another youngster who I'm not affiliated with, I'm not acquainted with, he came to me and he said, how fortunate are your friends to have a friend like you? And I thought to myself, no, I am the fortunate one. I am the fortunate one for Allah Azza wa Jal to bless me with the opportunity to make dua for others. If this is the least I can do, I can present this in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah. That, oh Allah, I couldn't do much in any other aspect, but I made dua for your beloved slaves. And if any of those ad'iyah were accepted, then accept me into your gardens. Help others in whatever capacity. And don't restrict your help either. Sometimes you may think, by me helping others, I'm losing. If it's financial, the bank balance is going down. If it's time is so precious. But even giving your time to others, subhanallah, giving your time to others, you will be rewarded multiple times back with afiyah, with goodness, with protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with well-being. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for afiyah time and time again. We learned this from the story of Sayyidina Sulaiman alayhi salam. In Surah Al-Naml, when the ants, they saw Sulaiman alayhi salam and his army approaching. And what did they say? قالت نملة يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. Go back into your ant holes. Take some refuge. Get some cover. Because Sulaiman and his army are coming and they can trample all of us without even knowing. So this plea from one ant was heard by Sayyidina Sulaiman alayhi salam. Allah Azza wa Jal gave him the gift and the power of communication with the animals. So he heard this plea. Just a few ayat later, 2 ayat later, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us the story of Hudhud, the bird. Hudhud was absent from the court of Sulaiman alayhi salam. So Sulaiman alayhi salam inquires, where is Hudhud? Where is the bird? And Sulaiman alayhi salam became angry. If he doesn't come back, he's going to be in big trouble. So Hudhud returns and he presents an opportunity of da'wah to Sayyidina Sulaiman alayhi salam. That there is this queen and she has this army and these people under her command, and she is not one who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, so on and so forth. So Hudhud presented this opportunity of da'wah. Did Sulaiman alayhi salam send him out? No. He took that initiative. This is a bird we're speaking about. We are human beings. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah Azza wa Jal has honored us, has made us the creation who is responsible for our actions and deeds. Will Hudhud be questioned on the Day of Judgment? Will the birds be questioned on the Day of Judgment? No. Will the humans be questioned? Yes. Hudhud decided to take that initiative, to go out and seek this opportunity of da'wah for Sulaiman alayhi salam. And Hudhud returned, and the story continues, and it's a beautiful ending. They accepted the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the call of Sulaiman alayhi salam. But all of this happened because one bird took initiative. The ants were saved because one ant took initiative. The Muslim ummah of the Prophet ﷺ will be saved when one human takes initiative. Who will be that one human to take initiative? It can be any single one of us. Do not underestimate yourselves. Do not underestimate the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are nothing without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when you underestimate yourself, indirectly you're underestimating the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're underestimating the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is with the individual who helps others. We have to stop living lives of selfishness, of individualism. I only care about me and my family. As long as we're taken care of, we're okay. I don't care about what happens outside. This is not the mindset of the believer. This is the wrong mindset to have. The correct mindset is always thinking of others, thinking of your neighbors, thinking of your friends, thinking of strangers. How can I be a means of benefit to others? How can Allah Azza wa Jal use me to help others? Especially at a time of need. The dua that comes out from the heart of a person who is oppressed, who needs help, is a dua that is very seldom rejected. It pierces through the heavens, and Allah Azza wa Jal hears the call of the caller. أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان أجيب دعوة المظلوم إذا دعان. Help others, especially if we're in a position to do so. And sometimes you may tell yourself, I'm not in a position to do so, what can I do? I'm only in high school, I'm only in middle school, I'm only a youngster, I'm only making this much money. This is not the right mindset to have. Just think of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum and what they presented at a time when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam requested for them to present. Some of them came with just a few belongings, and the best of all the best and the best of all men, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anh. This was one day where Umar radiallahu anhu, he thought that he is going to beat him. Al-musabaqa fil khayrat. They would always have competitions. Who can get more rewards? And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu comes with just some possessions, and Umar radiallahu anhu comes with more. And he says, today I beat Abu Bakr. When the Prophet ﷺ asks, Oh Umar, what did you bring? Umar radiallahu anhu said, I brought half of my possessions. Imagine you have $100,000 to your name, and you take out $50,000 to give in sadaqah. Imagine cutting half of your possessions, your assets, in half to give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Umar radiallahu anhu, he thought he one-upped Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And the Prophet ﷺ asks Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he says, Ya Abu Bakr, what did you leave behind, or what did you bring with you? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I left Allah and His Messenger to my family. I brought everything with me. And this is an action which is unique to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. It's not even permissible for the rest of the ummah to give all of their wealth in charity. We have to take care of our family members. You have to make sure you have something left behind for them. But this was Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he realized that day, I can never beat this man. This was the character that the Prophet ﷺ instilled within the companions radiallahu anhum. Where are the Abu Bakrs today? Where are the Umars today? We have to inspire to be like them, and be inspired by them. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who help others. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us more so we can give more. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not be selfish. We don't want to be selfish. We want to be selfless, and we want to be compensated for our selflessness on Yawm al-Qiyamah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins and reunite us in Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.